This is day 32 of the murder case of Ted R. Schmidt. Today we're going back over again a little deeper in Detective Koval's overview of the entire case. And came across something definitely really interesting and something that I do not understand why this scenario even came down or even if it was allowed, because I'm pretty sure this was not allowed in the law enforcement. But I guess we're just allowed to loo-de-da-de-da and just let anybody randomly come in and just see. Anyway, we will get into that in just a moment. In this page of Detective W. Michael Koval, page 8 of 8, and there is multiple sections of this in his case that just there's a lot missing, and then there's a lot of very confusing pages of why some are misnumbered and some are not properly numbered, and it's just very confusing to get together. But anyway, we had came across, I believe, in Otis McMullen's statement, this Travis Goff. Well, we finally found something from Detective Koval that was from Travis Goff when he called him. He said, "I received a phone call from Travis Goff and told me that he had been at Otis McMullen's house on 9/3 of 99 to work on a truck transmission with Otis." And he had told Detective Koval that he did not know Ted Schmidt personally at all. He didn't know who he was, other than it was Tammy's boyfriend. And in the statement here, he also says that Ted Schmidt didn't help them work on the truck, and only when it got too dark to see. Gene called out to them and said that dinner was ready, and apparently he cleaned up and went home. Even though in this statement he also says that he never stepped a foot in Otis's home. So how did he get cleaned up? Did he get cleaned out outside with a hose? With some soap? Because part of that makes no sense to me. Another thing is Mr. Travis Goff also knew a DS Bill Micrio, and DS means a detective sergeant, and there was 6 detective sergeants at this crime scene. And DS Bill Micrio allowed Travis Goff, let me back up a little bit. Travis Goff actually got a phone call the same night from Gene Rhodes telling him to come back to the house because there was an accident with Ted Schmidt. Now, I don't understand why a civilian who really had nothing to do with going back to the home of Otis and Gene Rhodes and McMullen just to go see a dead body. And what upsets me about this is that DS, Detective Sergeant Bill Micrio, allowed Travis Goff to go to where the EMS was working on Ted Schmidt. And then Travis Goff turns to Micrio and says that he didn't want to be a part of the crime scene and then leaves. If he didn't want to be a part of the crime scene, he would have said that to Gene over the phone, or at least told them when he got there. He had no right going to the crime scene whatsoever just to go see my uncle's dead body. And another thing is, we went back to the list of supposedly all the personnel that showed up, all the detective sergeants, all the investigators, the body removal and cleanup. Instead, we got just a random civilian's name that has nothing to do with any of this. Because on this list, there is a security for scene, There's a security for perimeter, the investigator, crime scene, the medical examiner, the SW body removal. The only one that says a family friend of the victim, Travis Goff, but he didn't know who Ted Schmidt was. This list is only for the personnel. Not for some random guy to come up and just put his name on the list because he had to sign in. But nobody else signed in. Heck, we're missing at least 10, 15, maybe 20 more people on this list. This list isn't even accurate. And another thing is that Otis McMillan also had a brother. His brother was a firefighter, named Walter McMullen. They're related. It's obvious here. Like, how much deeper can you go? Like, why do you just... I don't understand. That's all I got to say today. God bless.